Hello and welcome to this review of an interesting locomotive from Heljan. Initially looking very like the Class 15 and 16, we have Loco 10800. The Model Centre are currently offering these at a discounted price, so let's see if they're worth it and look at the interesting history this true prototype holds. I'll be particularly focusing on 10800 when it was on the Southern from 1952, but let's have a good close look at the model. What we can see is a very fine model indeed, and very fine is a good description of some of the details. This model is very delicate indeed, with pipes and handrails accurately but vulnerably placed. This is not a model to be handled roughly. Don't use a foam service cradle because fine pipes can be broken off. Instead use the supplied packing to support the model during servicing, as seen here. As can be seen, the underside has a good level of detail with two large vacuum cylinders in the middle. I found I could fit the couplings with no issues with buffer beam detail in place. I really like how it looks. At the rear, just behind the cab, is the steam heating boiler, complete with its own little exhaust chimney. Moving to the long frontal bonnet, this housed the Paxman 16PHXL engine. On top we have two exhaust ports. Just check out the handrails, gauges and other detail. I've placed my 08 shunter next to 10800 for a size comparison. If you take away the steam heating section, there's not a lot of difference, is there? The lights are of the correct yellowing colour and only work going forwards, as tail lamps would have been fitted to the rear. Discs are provided so alternate head codes can be displayed. Check out the little details along the sole bar. The cab lights work, but are quite dim. Inspired by North American loco design, British Railways 10800 was built by the North British Locomotive Company for British Railways in 1950. It had been ordered by the LMS back in 1946, but did not arrive until after the 1948 nationalisation of the railways. The locomotive was designed by George Ivatt as a possible replacement for steam locomotives on secondary and branch lines. Here we see the loco with 3 birdcage coaches, a much more realistic load than some of the tests this little diesel loco was given during its short career. A good website to check out is the Southern Railway email group. A link appears top right now and also in the description box for this video. You're seeing 2 screenshots of the website now with kind permission. Horsepower was 827, an attractive effort of 34,500 pounds with a top speed of 70 miles an hour. The cab was arranged to enable the driver to face the direction of travel, and therefore duplicate controls were fitted. The model runs smoothly and powerfully, and nothing on my layout was a challenge to it. Current draw is about 100 mA under load, which is low for a Heljan model. 10800 saw trials on the southern region in July 1952 until the 11th of December 1954. It was allocated to Norwood, the shed being chosen due to the fact it already had diesel refuelling facilities. Various test trains were run, for example London Bridge to Tunbridge Wells West via Oxted and East Grinstead High Level, London Bridge to Brighton via Dorking, Horsham and Stenning. Lots of interesting modelling opportunities for southern modellers of the early 50s era. trials also showed the loco was underpowered, with it losing time on the banks with even a 6-coach load. In October 1952 it was taken off passenger work and switched to freight workings from Norwood to Purley. Its first visit to Brighton Works was for 9 days from the 5th of November 1952. It soon gained the name of the Wonder Engine, because crews always wondered if it would actually go. From the 29th of June 1953 until the 6th of February 1954, Brighton Works tried to put right the faults that had so far blighted her career, at some considerable expense. Now it's time for a freight train. It managed to work 8-coach trains from Brighton to London and undertook various goods duties. The locomotive failed totally at Streatham Common on the 30th of March while working a Victoria to Brighton service and had to be towed to Norwood, and then towed via Oxted and Sheffield Park to Brighton Works, where the repairs to a badly damaged diesel engine took until the beginning of December to complete. Come December 1954 it was transferred to the Eastern region, finally being withdrawn in August 1959. That was not the end of the story, however, with the loco in 1961 going to Brush that needed a loco for experimental traction purposes. She was sold to Brush in 1962 and was finally scrapped in 1972 or 3. Certainly an interesting one this, and of course she went on to be the template for the Class 15 and 16s. The story of the 15s and 16s can be seen in the link top right now and found in this video's description. So what do you think? Well, this is a must for the Southern modeller of the era. While the loco had its troubles, it was a pathfinder and proof of concept that was possibly a bit ahead of its time, and would have benefited from more modern equipment and understanding. I really like the model and would indeed recommend it as long as you're careful with her. So now it's time to sit back and enjoy watching her go about her business with this short freight train. I'll try and add in some simulated sounds so that you get an idea of what she really sounded like. I hope that was interesting. Stay tuned for more very soon.